Hello everyone, I'm ZELLOOO or Zello, however you want to say it. Never really matters to me right here. I'm going to be playing Doom 64 for you. This is a great game developed by Midway with its software supervision back in 1997. Has its own set of levels, set of graphics, everything based on the original Doom engine but modified to make it work on the N64. We're going to be playing the 2020 remaster of the game released by Night Dive. Has some really great quality of life features like quick saving, better brightness control, just a lot of really great stuff for a marathon run. So I normally do this with a commentator, but I couldn't get anybody on quite short notice, unfortunately. But I'm not entirely alone. I've got this little fluffy boy right here. He'll be trying to claw me away while I put him away. So go ahead and get to the menu and get started here. Okay, so we're going to be playing the main campaign for this run. And the category is Watch Me Die Speed. Watch Me Die is equivalent to Ultraviolence in PC Doom. It's the hardest normal difficulty in the game. There is no nightmare for this game. And speed is basically just a typical any percent. We're just going to be going through the main 25 levels, just get through as fast as possible. So it starts off with a bang, but hopefully we'll do alright this run. We'll get started in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so first level is among the most difficult in the run. There's a lot of hit scanners, enemies that can just deal damage whenever they feel like it. You can't dodge them because they're not projectiles. And there's going to be a lot of shotgunners in this level. You're going to see my main move attack immediately where I'm strafe running. Pretty common mechanic in early FPSs of this era, where if you run forward and strafe left or right at the same time, those movement vectors are added together and you get a speed bonus. And then, due to the way Doom calculates its movement, you go about 28% faster. This is bad with the pinkies. Gonna hopefully slip in and not die. Okay. So you go about 28% faster when you're strafe running. It's called an SR40. You don't need to really know the specific numbers of the SRs because there is no SR50 in this game, since the engine was actually based on the Jaguar ports codes. The engine's a little bit different, but modified in some really cool ways. So with those modifications, though, and even with some of the base Doom mechanics, we do get some cool mechanics like key grabbing coming up. So the way the game checks collision, it kind of peeks ahead if you're bumping into a wall at a certain frame and angle with the right amount of speed. So I'm just going to grab that blue key right off the pedestal without having to solve the puzzle. Now, this game also introduces macros, which are a unique set of scripts for Doom 64. I activated the blue key macro, which starts the puzzle, and that makes it so that another macro cannot happen, and there's are supposed to be crushers right here that are supposed to come down and crush you, block your way. But since only one macro can be active, you can just skip that entirely and save time. It's very nice. So the level design in this game is really fantastic. Like I said, it kind of takes advantage of the Nintendo 64's original hardware constraints. So a lot of the levels are very packed together, and they do really cool effects to kind of like lengthen them out. Like you see this Crusher, the Terraformer, just getting us access to the next part of the level here. I'm going to pick up this extra Berserk right here. Berserk refills you to 100 health if you're below, and it also upgrades your fist to do 10 times the damage it normally would for the rest of the level. Now, I could key bump this yellow key, but I'm actually going to get it normally, because getting it normally opens up a secret room, which actually reveals 20 rockets. And rockets are an incredibly important source of damage in pretty much every category of this game, but especially this one. I need many rockets to get through a certain level in the early game. And if I don't have enough rockets, it may not be winnable. So this had a very recent rocket reroute lately. Mostly in the first 2/3 of the game, but some in the early game. We're going to be spending pretty much every rocket that we have. Also going to pick up our super shotgun right here, going into the main engineering. It's going to be the workhorse of our run right here. Interestingly, it fires 2 shells, but it actually does about 3 times the damage. It shoots 20 pellets instead of the shotgun's 7. And this actually makes it about as powerful as a rocket, so it's actually very useful for most of the game. So this is going to be the first level where we have to kill enemies in order to make certain scripts spawn. So this is why I'm grabbing this invincibility spear here, because I need to kill all the lost souls that show up, 2 very specific tacos normally, and some imps. Now what I can do is we can do what we call spawn prevention, where I actually just stood over where a cacodemon would spawn, and if an enemy would spawn but something is blocking it, then it will never actually spawn. And this is good for the triggers because I don't have to kill that enemy. It saves a lot of time that way. And that was incredibly fast. We actually got the elevator to activate immediately, so we killed all the right enemies and blocked some other ones. So that allows us to get the key now. Very, very good run so far. It's a very tricky room to manage. It's very random how the cacodemons move. This game has a lot of randomness, as is typical with PC Doom, so a lot of playing this game is knowing what can happen and being able to mitigate it, depending on what is going on. So, I'm gonna grab an extra set of rockets coming up here. We're gonna grab these in here. That activates another secret over here, if I can get to it. There we go. Like I said, we're gonna go out of our way a lot for rockets. Because we really, really want rockets. We're gonna duck in here and grab a mega armor before we leave. I do want to give a flashing warning coming up. There is a soul sphere that I'm going to grab early in this level, and then there's going to be a blinking lights effect for about 10 seconds. So if you are sensitive to bright light, I'll let you know when to look and not. So here comes the soul sphere, so look away if you need to. Gonna hopefully get through this corridor as fast as possible so we can stop this. And now you can look again. So it's a pretty straightforward level right here. Mostly just gonna jump straight to the exit here. But I just had a barrel explode in my face because a lost soul tried to charge me, and it charged the barrel instead. That's not very common, but that can happen. I will say, speaking of lost souls are some of the most changed enemies in the game. There were balance changes made to all the enemies in 64, and lost souls are some of the most changed and some of the most aggressive. So incredibly difficult to deal with them. They only have about half health, but they have the most aggression out of any enemy in the game now. Okay, so this level's a little tricky. I want to have as much health and armor exiting if I can. Because the next level, I would like to avoid going to get a Mega Sphere if possible, because it's useful, but it also takes a long time to get. So I'm going to pick up a backup Mega Armor and a Soul Sphere on my way out, hopefully be able to conserve that. I guess now's a good time to talk about armor while we're at it. So armor does reduce the amount of damage you take. If you have green armor on, then you reduce the damage by 1/3. But if you have blue armor on, like I currently have, you actually reduce the damage by a half. So it's actually very beneficial to pick up pretty much as much mega armor as possible and store it. And if you are kind of good on blue armor, like say you have like 80 blue armor, you don't want to swap to a green armor even though it puts you at 100, because then you have less damage protection. But there's just a lot of weird quirks with Doom mechanics in general. Knowledge of that's really key if you're playing any classic Doom. I'm gonna avoid these Crutchers. Hopefully we'll bait this Hell Knight. Thank you. So enemies do move very randomly, but you can control that randomness to an extent when they aggro. They generally try to follow you. So they'll move around randomly, but they generally try to follow you. Too early. Okay, so we're gonna grab this Soul Sphere right here that's behind the bars. I already grabbed the Mega Armor, the only actual secret in the level. So we're gonna try and conserve all of this into the next level here. Which is extremely difficult because this is the worst key in the game coming up. And looks like we're gonna have to take a, yeah, we're definitely gonna have to take the Mega Sphere the next level now. I got hit with some really unlucky fireballs and got stuck on the Crusher. We'll pick up some more rockets here. Hopefully not get too beat up as we leave. Now, there is a half a second delay before you exit a level whenever you hit a switch or enter the exit teleporter, and you can die while you're exiting, and if that happens, you do lose all of your equipment while you complete the level, which would not be very good for a marathon, so we're going to try and avoid that. So this is probably the most difficult early game level in this category. We're going to go for the Mega Sphere since I am a lot lower on health and armor than I'd like, which is okay, because that does allow us to get some backup rockets, which are still pretty useful. We're going to grab the key here. We're going to activate this secret hallway. Clear out some of the zombie men here. I'm going to play this a little safe. I don't want to fall here, because falling is bad. But we'll get the hidden Mega Sphere. That puts me at 200 stats with Mega Armor status, so I have as much protection as I can get. Now, the hard part is getting out right here, and that's bad. Okay, I got beat up so badly there. We'll try that again. Yeah, any difficulty in this game that is not Be Gentle does full damage for everything, and enemies hit like a truck. So, as you saw, I went from 200 stats to almost 0 instantly. Getting surrounded. I do have some extra rockets. We'll go ahead and clear these guys out. The hallway a lot safer, because I do need to come back. Get rid of the Lost Souls. We're going to make a very tricky jump coming up right here. This is a very difficult strafe jump to make. There we go. First try is pretty nice. But it's not over. We have the most difficult room in this level coming up, what Peaches and I like to call the American Gladiator room. So there's a bunch of pillars. If you played this game casually, you know exactly which room I'm talking about and how much everybody hates it. But hopefully we'll get through it quickly. Got through it in for one try. Very nice. So if you fall down, you likely trigger a bunch of specters, which are invisible pinkies to spawn. And you get trapped, and it's very difficult to climb back up, and you usually just die. And that's not counting all of the other crap that's in your way. So, very nice to get that in one shot. So we have plenty of health leaving. Gonna take those extra rockets, and we're going to leave right now. So, because of the strafe running, you can do a lot of things with the floor triggers in this game called line defs. We can actually skip over them because of the way we move. So I'm gonna line up right here. And by moving over a trigger that you couldn't see on the floor, I actually just avoided a whole bunch of Lost Souls from spawning. So the way the movement in this game in Doom works is that it's not really smooth movement. You think of it more as warping from one frame to the next. So the game thinks you're somewhere one frame, and then the next frame it kind of warps you to the next, and the movement is just so quick that you don't really notice this. But because of that, if you can be on one side of a line def one frame, and then on the very next frame you end up on the other side without touching it, then you just completely skip over that line def. And that's normally very good in 64 because you can avoid enemies spawning or such, but that can also be really bad, and if we have a bad instance, I'll point that out. It's pretty funny when that happens, but it can also soft lock your game if you do a bad instance and go too far in a level. So we're gonna try not have a happy little accident. We're just gonna activate this switch right here. Gotta get past a couple more Hell Knights, but this level's pretty easy to get through now. One last Hell Knight right here, just bounce across him. Didn't want to take that hit, but it's okay. Alright, and this is going to be the last of the moon-based levels. I'm going to try and skip over a trigger right here by just going at a certain angle. Slowly make our way around. So that stops a floor from dropping, and we end up in a pit with a bunch of enemies. So we could skip that. Maybe we'll get a lucky skip right here. Oh, we actually got a lucky skip. So I skipped 7 Nightmare Imps from appearing in this hallway. So that was very fortunate. I actually got that during my warm-up run. I didn't think I was going to get it again. Alright, so we actually do have another key bump coming up. I actually need to get this key first. But we do have a key bump coming up for the next key. This one's going to be interesting because I'm not going to face it. We're actually going to watch a wall, and we're going to hit it backwards, just like this. So I ran diagonally and grabbed it with my butt. So I like to call that key grab booty grab. So take that as you will. Doom guy's got the good booty. Alright, so coming up is going to be like the hardest room in this level. If I fall in this pit, I can't get out. I have to kill all the barons that show up and any Hell Knights that get spawned. If I could please spawn them. Okay. But we actually got one of the Hell Knights to get spawn blocked. So that's very good. I see the other one over there. This is actually getting really hairy, so I'm going to clear out a few of these imps. I'm actually going to clear a lot more imps out than I normally do. My health's pretty low. But at least most of the riffraff is gone. That makes things a lot safer. I'm going to grab these rockets. Hopefully not die as I make this jump onto the exit stairs. Good. And we're out of here. At 12% health. All we need. Alright, so that ends the moon-based level. So the story of the game is that there was a bunch of radiation to mask everything that happened in the first 2 games, but the Mother Demon survived and resurrected everything. So you ended up back on Mars moon bases to deal with her, and now we are back in hell. So this is the first of our big arena levels. We have to kill waves of enemies in order for things to progress. So first is make this wave. Now we need to kill all of the Hell Knights. We don't need to kill the Tech Demons, but it would be helpful if we can lure some to spawn block some on the next wave. So hopefully we'll get a bit lucky here. I'm gonna pick up some Mega Armor and extra rockets while I'm at it. Okay, so the last wave is definitely the scariest because there are a bunch of Pain Elementals, and Pain Elementals are among the most changed enemy in the entire series. Where if you they normally would spawn one Lost Soul at a time. In 64, they spawn 2 at a time, and if you try and block them with your body like you could in PC Doom, they will explode and do explosive damage to you right in your face and usually just kill you. So we don't want that to happen. Now, thankfully, we've got the invincibility to help clear everything out. Hopefully, we're going to finish off all these barons before it runs out too far. They're kind of spread out. I don't like how this is going. I'm going to go ahead and drop a quick save just to be safe. Our rocket situation's at least very good. Should be able to drop them and then grab some extra rockets on the way out. I got a Lost Soul on me. We're going to play this safe. This is way too low to risk getting Lost Souled. Lost Souls not only are incredibly aggressive when they charge, they also just like to block all of your rockets. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Okay, so thankfully that ends that. So we're going to get a couple more weapons in this level. We're finally going to put those cells that I've been collecting to use. Cells are the other big ammo component for this run. And they're going to power both the plasma gun and the BFG. BFG is definitely the more important of the two. Unfortunately, the plasma gun is not very good in this game. It has a reduced firing rate compared to PC Doom, and that makes it almost useless. Now, I will use it here and there, but we mostly want our cells going towards the BFG. Incredibly handy and big super weapon that we'll use on the boss monsters and such. Health's a little low. I'm gonna grab this Mega Armor. I'm gonna grab this hull. Hopefully, that wasn't worth it. Alright, gotta play a little careful with the alt. Not much hull. So we'll use the plasma right here on the Lost Souls coming up. So the plasma, like I said, has a reduced firing rate in this game. It still can be useful since it does more damage than the chain gun. But it also has a tendency to miss Lost Souls due to the way it fires. So it's very risky to use, especially with the lower fire rate. So I do need to solve a secret in order to get to the BFG. We're going to activate this gargoyle panel that's on the right here. So that makes the BFG platform lower. Let's slip around these barons. We're going to lure a bunch of specters over right here. I'm going to have them block a whole bunch of Mancubi from spawning. So only one spawn, which is good. And that makes it much easier to get out of the room. We're going to use this BFG to blast our way out, hopefully. Clear out these Lost Souls. I'm going to drop a save, because this is scary sometimes. Drop 2 BFG shots. Ow. I got wrecked hard. Let's try that again. It's Doom. Anything can kill you in Doom. That's just really how this game goes. Core. So this is probably the main reason we picked up the Mega Armor, because there's not a good Mega Armor to pick up on this level, and we need as much protection as possible. You might see these bridges that are kind of floating around. This is not a true 3D engine. Doom really just kind of uses the Z-axis. It's just kind of there. There's not really an actual Z-axis in the engine. It's kind of a separate displacement. So these bridges are really cool because you think they're like up in the air like a 3D game, but no, it's actually the floor is raising and lowering off screen thanks to line depths, which makes these special bridges happen. It's really cool. But also, that can cause accidents if I skip a line depth that raises these bridges. So I'm gonna hopefully not have that happen here. If that happens, then I end up with a giant hole in the floor that I actually can't cross. We're gonna try a strat here that doesn't really work for me very often, but we'll try anyway. I'm gonna blow these guys away. 6 rockets to get rid of these, hopefully, and then we're gonna shoot the BFG here. Pick up the last Lost Souls over here. Oh, one right there. Okay, that actually worked out reasonably well. The Spectres like to not cooperate, and they like to avoid the rockets you shoot. I'm gonna try not to get trapped in this middle portion, otherwise I would have to deal with these Mancubi. A little sketchy on health. We should be okay. Hopefully it won't get clawed to death by Cacos here. It's very real, though. Very real possibility. Oh, I just got wrecked by imps instead. Yow. Usually the Cacos kill me if that's gonna happen. That's okay. I just realized I've used up pretty much all the health available in this level, so I need a very good ending to this, to not die. So we're actually going to do a little bit of safety here. We're going to open this. We're going to get this rocket launcher, but that's not why we open the door. We're actually going to lure a bunch of barons over to the edge and hopefully run right past them here. And hopefully not get shot to death, like that. It's unfortunate when that happens, but I'm so low health, I don't really have a good option for this. Ah, come on. I'm just gonna have to wing this until we get it. Oh, there's the hole in the floor right there. There's the happy hole in the floor. As you can see, it was just there, couldn't do it, couldn't even move past it. You don't even drop down. Okay, we're gonna wait again. It's not a Doom 64 run without at least one very funny marathon incident. Okay, we got out. All you have to do is just complain enough through your helmet, and then they let Doom Guy through. It's easy as that. Well, thankfully there's some supplies we can get right here. We all will get our final weapon of the run, but we won't be actually using it. We're going to be picking up mostly just for the extra cells. The Unmaker would be upgraded with special demon artifacts that you find in the secret levels, but that takes way too long to do in this run, so we're not going to be doing that at all. Oh, does have some really cool close quarters combat, and also some really scary situations. The altar room where we're going to pick the Unmaker up is definitely one of those spots. I'm going to get this plasma. That opens the elevators coming up right here. Oh, this Baron's not in a good spot. Good fireball dodge there, though. We're just gonna avoid him. Go this way. Actually, I think I like this method more because I can get rid of him ahead of time. It's less prevalent in this category compared to a max category, which would be like 100% for this game. But you want to do a lot of multitasking when possible, like just clear out enemies and such while you're waiting for elevators. This little skip right there. Alright, so here comes the altar room. We have 5 barons that we need to kill. I'm going to try and leash them together using my super shotgun and just kind of have them move around. And we're going to grab the Unmaker that's over here. Hopefully we're in a decent spot. This is decent. I haven't really gotten to explain the BFG, so let me go ahead and do that now. So there's 2 components to the BFG shot. There's the big ass ball that you see. That does 100 to 800 damage in intervals of 100, but that's not what causes the most damage. After you shoot the BFG and it explodes, the game uses a recorded angle that you were at when you fire the shot, and it shoots a whole bunch of invisible tracers from your eyes at your current position when the ball explodes. So if that sounds complicated, that's because it kind of is. But those tracers can easily do a couple thousand damage, if not more. So basically, you want to run up to a big set of enemies or one big enemy, fire the ball in its face, and then give it a giant fiery hug. So that's a rundown on how the BFG works, and it is critical because we need that in order to clear out tons of enemies, and especially the 2 boss monsters in this run. Now, because the BFG eats 40 cells a shot, that's why we're going to open up some more secrets along the way and start refilling our cells. Now, anybody who's played this map casually knows the infamous dart room, and it's pretty funny, but you normally would want to get an invulnerability sphere to do this safely. We're not going to do that at all. We're just going to charge headfirst into the dart room and pray that we don't get torn up too much. And right now, yeah, I only took like 45 damage. That's actually pretty low. So, got out of that really nicely. So we can grab the invulnerability on the way out. Grab some extra rockets on the way too. And we can just hit the switch and progress. I want to clear out these guys a little bit because I will be coming back to this room later. And there is a critical secret that I need to get before I leave this level, so the pathway needs to be clear. So that's why I fire a couple of rockets at those Arachnotrons up there. Library here is a little scary. We're going to rely on the chain gun here. Chain gun's actually really good in this game. It has a faster firing rate than it does in PC Doom. It also has a really, really good sound effect. Like, the sound design in this game is amazing. Yeah, the chain gun's just really helpful, especially in this category and difficulty, since you can't use stealth as much, but you still want some kind of rapid weapon for weaker enemies. The chain gun's really, really effective for that. So, we're gonna get this last key right here. Or this red key. There's one more key to get, but it's on the way out. Pick up some extra rockets. Now, I need to get that one secret. The secret does a few things. It not only will stop enemies from blocking my way coming out right here. It's bad. We'll try to make this work. Okay, this is fine. Okay, so not only are the enemies not going to follow me, they're going to try and follow me by going back to the other side of the corridor. So not only are they going away, we can pick up some extra energy from the hidden BFG, and we can get the Mega Sphere, which resets our stats. And this is pretty much needed in order to get to the next level consistently. The next level is... it's hell, to say the least. Nice little dodge at the end, too. Alright, so we've got Eye of the Storm. This is one of the more difficult levels in the mid-game. We need to kill a bunch of Barons to start off. This will make the blue key spawn. Now, by going to this side of the map, we did spawn a bunch of pinkies on the other side. So we're going to be having to charge past a bunch of pinkies right here. Hopefully they'll stay out of our way mostly. I'll clear a couple of them out so I don't have to worry about them. So thankfully the Arachnotrons are causing some infighting. Infighting is great when it happens since you don't have to worry about enemies firing at you. They just kind of focus on each other. We're going to do one other trick right here. The only intentional save load. So I'm going to actually save and instantly reload. So there are a bunch of lost souls above me where the key was. But by saving and loading, most of them actually de-aggro. Which is great because otherwise I would have to deal with a bunch more of them at the end of the map. We don't want that. So that keeps them mostly in place until we get to that point of the map. And that stops them from spawning more on top of that. Now I have to get past some pain elementals right here. So this is kind of scary. And now we have to run to the end of this map, which is going to be very, very tight coming up. That's the wrong weapon. Well, you got to see the Unmaker for all of, like, 1 second. Now, I'm really, really low on health here, so this is not looking good. We're going to play this a little safe. And brace yourself for the loudest shot in the game coming up. Big explosion. I'm still gonna have to play this a little safe because there are way too many lost souls for me to go outside. I'm getting whittled down by hit scanners too. Not good. Could be okay. Okay. It wasn't fast, but it was at least out. We got ourselves out. Any run that you can take past that, you take it and go. But this does mean I do need to watch my bullet count. Alright, so we'll do another quick key grab. That one's pretty interesting because you just kind of wiggle against the pillar for a while and you eventually get it. So, not really sure why. It just happens. I guess it's just the way the movement collision code works. Gonna hopefully slip past all these enemies on this upper ledge right here. I didn't have good luck in my practice. I got pretty blocked, so this is not looking good. We can do a safer strat if I don't get it within a couple tries here. Okay. I'll try one more time. And if not, we'll do the safe strat. Okay. Should be good. So we're just gonna leave everything behind here. There's one very scary part coming up right here. I need to blast my way past a bunch of Barons. We're gonna save. Ow, got torn to death. So Fireball from them can do easily 80 plus, and this scratches can do like 100. So it's very risky to do that strat, but the only other option is spending a bunch of rockets and a bunch of time. We don't want to do that. Unfortunately, there's also 2 more Barons inside the exit room, so we're going to lure them out while avoiding these Revenant rockets. So Revenants are not actually in the game. They had to be cut due to storage limitations. But their rockets are actually still in the game, and kind of those wall turrets you could see up on top use them. It's just pretty cool. Okay, so there's just going to be a lot of monster killing in this level just because this is a lot of backtracking in this level. So enemies tend to get in your way if you leave them alone. So we're going to clear a bunch of them out. Nice BFG shot. It actually auto-targeted the echo that was up there. I don't think any of the imps follow me into the room, which I would actually want. No. But we're gonna have to hit the switch that's over by the barons. There is a nice little trick you can do if you manage to get an enemy to bonk its head on a closing door. The door will reopen instantly, and you don't have to hit a switch or open it yourself. And fortunately, that doesn't happen very often in this category, just due to the nature of the room. But it's fine. So, blast our way past all these enemies. We're gonna go ahead and refill our health and armor. Very nice little convenient cove on our way to our next key. Interestingly enough, there are like a bunch of areas in this level that you would expect to be tagged as secrets, but they're not. And there's a lot of little weird quirks like that in this game. I'm not sure if the developer just ran out of time or just overlooked them. But just something to note. Like, there's going to be a big bookcase that I'm going to open coming up that has a bunch of rockets and a energy cell pack. And you would think that would be marked as a secret, but it's not. So, just kind of odd. So we're going to open this bookcase right here, grab all these rockets, grab energy, and get out before I get swarmed. And then we've got the coolest BFG shot coming up right here. So I'm going to wait in the corner. I'm going to wait for just a very specific time. And then we're going to blast everything away in one shot. Also, if you fall into that pit right there that's lowering, you can't get out and you die. And that was really great in the original version of the game where you couldn't save mid-level. Alright, so this is another arena level coming up. This is extremely difficult to get through, so we're actually going to do a little bit of setup to make it easy. So I'm going to activate 2 extra secret rooms that I normally don't have to go to. We're going to get some very useful supplies out of them. So, secret room number 1 right there. This level is very appropriately called Watch Your Step, because depending on where you are in the level, what kind of line depths you trigger, you end up causing more enemies to spawn. Hopefully this pain element will be nice, thank you. That pain element could have just shot me in the face, so our health is low, and that's okay. This secret room right here has a megasphere for us to take, so now we're back at 200. I'm going to save that invincibility over there for later while we do the arena portion of this level. So I need to kill very specific enemies of these waves, and we're going to keep all the other ones alive. So A, save time, and B, have them hopefully block other enemies from showing up. So this Hell Knight right here needs to die. I think I killed the wrong one there. Kill that one to be sure. Where's the last one? Enemies kind of got scattered here, so this is kind of dicey. Okay. So this is the last wave before we pick up the invincibility. We're gonna clear out a few of these first. Cause a little bit of infighting too. So, the bosses of this level are 2 Cyber Demons. Cyber Demons are extra scary because they fire rockets and they have a bunch of HP. And on top of that, they also have immunity to splash damage from rockets. Only direct damage works. So we're going to be using our BFG on them. It requires us to get close. So we're just going to go point blank. Just pop them in the face. 2 BFG shots can be enough to kill depending on how lucky you are. I'm not getting very good luck. Okay. Well, we managed to kill them in 5, which is fine. Killing them in 5 shots. Grab the ammo, and we will leave. Pretty scary level, but thankfully out of the way. Fortunately, we end up in one of the longest levels in the run now. The Spawn Fear is pretty infamous for just being really long and annoying. I do enjoy this level, but there's a lot of really complicated backtracking involved, some really tough fights. Oh good, the Baron came over. So, interestingly enough, the trigger coming up, you can either kill all the barons, or you could hit the switch at the end to make a barricade disappear in front of this key that would normally be here. I just like to kill the barons because I've already got the BFG, so I'm gonna close this door just to make sure that guy doesn't follow me out. We do have to come back here later. Nice rocket shot there. So I'm gonna try and keep a few lost souls alive. There's an interesting mechanic about lost souls in classic Doom. If there are 21 lost souls or more on a map at any given time, if the game tries to spawn any from pain elementals or from lined up spawns or such, then it won't actually spawn them, which is really good because that means pain elementals become a lot easier to deal with. So we're going to hopefully keep a few of those alive for later when we need to deal with some pain elementals. This is my one break. I'm going to count for a bit and stay in this spot. So we'll spawn block a Hell Knight from showing up. This is on a timer right here, so once the timer expires after counting the rings, we can go ahead and deal with this pain elemental. See, no lost souls came out right there. Now, I actually left the spot I was supposed to stay on early, so I didn't end up spawn blocking that Hell Knight. That's okay. Let's lure these barons to the wall. We'll run right past them. Like I said, enemies tend to move to where you are when they first aggro. Definitely use that to your advantage where you can. How did the lost soul end up in there? Huh. Alright, so we've got 2 keys. We are halfway through this level. Gonna hopefully tear through some of these enemies here. This is a little scary. I'm gonna go and clear them out. Normally would have left them a little bit more behind, but I have to get all the way back here, so no good. So this room is pretty cool. We're gonna get one really cool secret right here. That's gonna refill our health and armor. And then we're gonna grab another pack of cells right here. And we do need to hit a couple switches and kill some enemies in order to progress things. So it's easiest to just take that clockwise path around. So that opens up a soul sphere for later as well, so we can grab that on the way out. So hopefully we're not gonna have too much trouble with these pain elementals coming up. There we go. That there are so many lost souls on the field still. No extra lost soul spawns, so that made that fight super easy to deal with. Okay, I've got enough bullets for this. I do need to pick up that pack on the way back though, because I do need bullets for later. That jerk blocked me. So remember how I was saying earlier that this game doesn't have a proper Z-axis? Well, that applies to enemies that are above and below you. They act as though they are right in front of your face as far as movement is concerned. Save right here, because it's always scary. Alright, good. So even if the enemy is like a mile in a canyon right below you, you can't move past it. And they can still melee attack you from that distance too, so have to be really careful. Uh-oh, these enemies are all the way. Why are you all here? Okay, well there's one more pain elemental trap to shoot up right here. Thankfully they all died from that BFG blast, so I didn't have to run past them. Alright, so that brings us to the late game. So we start off with a bang right here. This is a spiral. There's a bunch of rockets in this level that we're going to pick up. This is basically going to fill us up for the rest of the run. And we're going to get a bunch of health as well. But it's really chaotic once we get this key coming up, because I can get blocked by infinite height enemies and then just completely screwed. So hopefully that's not going to happen here. That's not a good position to be in. Nope. Very dead. Very, very dead. Let's step to the left this time. Okay, that's much better. Okay, we're filled up to 100 rockets. That's exactly where we want to be. We're all maxed out. Alright, so level coming up has a really weird trick. We're actually going to have our Z height on this shotgun shell right here actually hit the switch above where it's supposed to be. So there is a bit of auto-aim in this game since you can't look up and down. The game does try and auto-aim for you a bit. So we were able to have that super shotgun blast hit the switch way above, even though that really doesn't make sense. So that saves us from having to climb around the ledges, go around. I got beat up pretty hard. Okay, so there will be some power-ups that we can get on the way out. Hopefully, as long as we don't take too much other damage. BFG for the Spectres here. I'm gonna try and just run past the Tall Knight. Very close fireball dodge there. So I need to kill all the pinkies to leave this room. I got most of them. Okay, good. So even if you were able to get out of that room before the door closes, there's actually a barrier that gets in your way on the way back, and it doesn't lower until you manage to deal with them. So have to go ahead and kill. So sorry, Pinky fans. All right, kind of a scary corridor coming up right here. I do need to get past this Baron that's kind of locked in a room. And he can just choose to be angry. He's running out of the way, thank goodness. I have been stuck with that guy more times than I'd like to admit, and you just get clawed to death. Especially with no armor in the new route. We're gonna grab the Soul Sphere out of this cove. I'll help for the next level. Now, I need to be careful not to accidentally soft lock coming into this exit well trigger, because I can skip the line up, so we're just going to kind of wiggle ourselves inside. I actually ended up in it, then got bounced out by a fireball, which is pretty funny. Alright, pitfalls. So this has some really scary backtracking, and the end of this level is pretty notorious for killing runs. So I need to make a very tight ledge jump. This ledge jump's really tough because you have to strafe run at a good angle. It's pretty difficult to get. Come on. There we go. We're going to do a little bit of enemy cleanup as we go through the hallway here. I'm going to grab one very secret mega armor right here to refill on. Oh, I'm actually out of bullets. Shit. Oh, that's a problem for later. Would like more bullets, so this is actually a little concerning. I think I can make that work. We'll make it work. I can see the shotgun if I need to, I guess. Okay, so we could do another key clip coming up, but there's a bunch of barons that spawn, and I don't want to have to worry about that. So we're just going to go the long way here, which is actually good because we get enough energy for another BFG shot. So these guys can follow me around to the end of the level when I have to come back. We're going to pray that doesn't happen. So I need to make this invincibility last as long as possible. So we're just going to kind of kite our way around here. We're not cooperating very well. Hopefully that door is going to close for me. Hopefully we can get around this Baron as well. Oh. So this invincibility is going to run out pretty soon. I do not really want... We're definitely going to grab this extra Soul Sphere right here. Got the 100 health. I had to be very careful not to fall off the ledges because all the enemies are aggro to this point. Getting back is a huge time waster and just very difficult in general. So, we need to go back to the starting room with this key. And now we have to dodge all the crap that we left behind. Thankfully, do have some BFG ammo to work with. And now all the barons I left behind earlier are probably at the teleporter, so we're going to play lottery once I get up on here. Yep, that's bad. Oh, that's bad. Stuff in here. Thankfully, know your safe strats. But it's really handy to play another category as well, so you know your secrets. So we can just get around these guys, hopefully. Okay. The extra health's pretty nice, too. Get in there. Very scary ending. Alright, thankfully, that's probably like the last really, really scary level coming up. Even No Escape's really not that bad anymore. We're gonna refill on rockets a bit here. A little bit of setup here. Snipe this Kako from all the way down there. I have to wait for a script to finish before I can hit this next switch anyways, so it's fine to take some time for that. We can use for later. So I could grab this rocket launcher normally and activate the trap, but that usually just gets you killed, so we're going to activate these barriers. Make things a lot safer. We can just snipe out the arachnotrons from here. Where's the radar? There it is. I did activate a door earlier as I was coming into this room, and that door is very critical because it takes us to that megasphere. I didn't open it. Okay, well now I opened it. We're gonna blast them away. Grab energy coming out. Hopefully not get too stuck as we leave this room. We want to do this quick because we don't want to get caught at the door right here with these Hell Knights. That scared me. Very scary. Thought I was going to get stuck between them for a second and get clawed to death. Halloween came early this year for them. Oh, don't shoot me like that. Ugh. Well, there's a soul sphere we can get on the way out, so that's fine. So pretty much all we need to do is exit, but the height issue is going to be a problem coming up, possibly, because enemies can block me. So we're going to save here, hopefully not get blocked by enemies. Oh, that is way too much crap. I can work with this amount of health, I just need to get out. We didn't die going out, that's all we need. That's all we need, that's fine. As long as we didn't die in the exit, because I can't afford to lose my equipment. So there's extra health going around, so that's fine. Just grab a few med kits here. A lot of monster killing in this level. This is the longest level in the run, or one of the longest levels. It's probably tied with Spawn Fear for longest. 3, 4, we need to kill 6 of these specters. Kind of running around. So 6 specters to allow the elevator to unlock. Got plenty of rockets, thankfully. We'll just go ahead and clear out the barons. Preferably not by standing too close like this. And hopefully the last baron will actually be... Well, I was going to say he'll be at the spire, but nope. Let's use that. I've got a little extra energy. And, like, cell routing is really tight and it's hard to keep track sometimes. Oh, where are you? Over here, jerk. Usually he'd like to hang around the other spire. This will open the castle up. We're gonna get a big secret right here. This is a big energy refill. This is like 280 cells. Like, very, very worth it. I'm actually a little lower on cells than I do like, so that. So I need to wait for 4 waves of enemies to stop right here. So we're just gonna kind of tight these pinkies around the room for a bit. And that's because I want them to block as many barons as possible coming up. So that's the last wave of pinkies. We're just gonna kind of have them stick around for a bit. And now we go for the switch, hopefully. So that spawn blocked at least 2 of them, so that's pretty good. So we have to come back to that room later, so it's easier to just deal with a bunch of pinky, bunch of barons. So we've got one last line def skip coming up. This one's really critical because it allows us to get the yellow key early. And that allows us to skip spawning barons at a certain time, and also stop fighting a bunch of cacodemons to get back into the castle, which we don't want to have to do. We're going to kill all these. Line up. Didn't get knocked, of course, got the yellow key early. So if I were to trigger those line defs, then the yellow key would have reappeared somewhere else. You go to that 2 more times, and eventually I'd be able to pick it up normally. But by picking it up normally, I've stepped on a line def that spawns a bunch of cacodemons and locks the chasms. Don't want to have to do that. This is the only time you also see a unique switch puzzle gimmick. There's a bunch of code combinations on some doors that'll tell you what you need to hit. But the easiest way to do it is just start with a switch and then go clockwise. So, I want to conserve as much health and armor for the rest of this level, because we really, really want it for the next level coming up. I'm going the wrong way. I was about to go get the red key again. Don't need to do that, but thankfully this is on the way. Let me see if I can snipe out that Hell Knight that's up there. It's funny that the rockets will actually target him all the way from there. He'd be awake. He's not even awake! But my rockets were doing damage. How did he not get aggroed? Doom coding is certainly something special, and I love this game to death, but the coding, the way this game runs, it's just kind of a miracle in itself. Alright, so now we can trigger the Baron trap, since we still need to do that in order to get to the end of the stage. So we're going to trigger 1, 2, and this third one we need to kill in order to make the exit stairs show up. So off he goes. Hit that switch, and we're out of here. So that brings us to No Escape, which is definitely one of the most difficult levels in the run, because we have 3 cyber demons to kill, and killing them ends the map. And unfortunately, there's no invincibility in this map at all. So we're going to have to do some very clever bait and switch strats in order to not get caught here. So it's better to just take our chances with the Mancubi and the enemies running around, because killing them makes more enemies spawn, so we don't want that to happen. Okay, first one's down. So as you can see right there, I want to strafe 2 of the 3 rockets, and then on the last one I want to charge my shot, and that allows me to get in close and use the BFG tracers on them. So there are 2 cybers in this cave. One came out by himself. That's very good. The other one's actually coming out right now. We don't want that yet. There's 2. Save before this one here. 1, 2, 3. Come on, one more shot. There we go. First try, no escape. Very nice. And that brings us to the last level of the game. This is the Absolution. This is just going to be one giant arena fight. Got to kill everything that shows up, and then we kill the Mother Demon. Interestingly enough, some bit of trivia. Absolution was actually the working title for this game when it was in production, but it was changed to Doom 64 for brand recognition. So I'm going to wait here for a bit. We're going to bait out a whole bunch of pain elementals. We're going to use the BFD to quickly clear them out, and we're going to put our invincibility to use and clear out as much as we can with rockets before they wear off. Like, there are a ton of enemies here, and we need to kill everything. And if you had the demon artifacts from the secret levels, you would be able to close these gates and kill the enemies that way. But since we don't have any of that, because that's slow, we're just going to slug everything out. So that's why we filled up on rockets. Elemental being a pain in the butt. I'm not liking this. Let's see that. Clear out several of those enemies with tracers. I want to get the most mileage I can using the BFG there. That last one was not so good, but that's fine. I want to save 3 BFG shots for the end boss, which is the Mother Demon. Mother Demon has 5,000 health, the most of any enemy in the game, but hopefully we won't see too much of her. Oh, there's one last Hell Knight. Something's not dead. One last stray imp. Okay, so time is going to be when I reach the final results screen. So here is the Mother Demon. This is... Wow, I actually got annihilated because my first BFG shot was so off. Try that again. Stop knocking me off course. There. So in typical Doom fashion, everybody in hell dies, and that includes me. But as long as I don't press anything, we're done right here. So time's coming up right now. And that is Doom 64, Watch Me Die Speed. I hope you all enjoyed. We get our nice little ending where Doom Guy just, even though I just killed him, he remains in hell forever. And this 2020 remaster does have a bonus campaign added to it that actually ties together the classic series with 2016 and Eternal, so you should check that out sometime if you want to see that. Anyways, it looks like we have a 5209. That's pretty good for a marathon run. This is a tough run. It's a very difficult category. I actually just had a 48 last night to improve the record a bit further. It can definitely go down more, but hey, I'll take what I can get. Anyways, I know we're running just a little bit behind schedule here, so I won't take too long. Quick shout outs to all of you for watching. This is a really fun run. I'm always happy to showcase this. I've been running this game since the original, since 2014. Never gets old. Big shout outs especially to everyone from the Doom 64 Discord who are here, and just the Doom 64 Discord in general. If you want to learn how to speedrun this game at all, or if you want to just hang out or check out a ton of the awesome custom content that we have for this game now, you should check out the Discord that's linked on speedrun.com, or you can DM me for a link. But I think that's going to do it for me. Thank y'all for having me, and see y'all later. Have a good rest of the marathon.